Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against a real prospect,
No. Joe's great. No, everyone knows Joe's great. But I'd much rather we have someone in the studio that we get on with and we know and we like and we build up that rapport with than they go, oh, you've got in the studio and I'll be like, oh, I don't know them. So I'm really glad you're back.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind.
Oh, Joe, I was waiting for a punchline.
Yeah. I actually felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Hold on. I was talking to Darren. Hugo, nice to see you. What have you been doing this week? What have you been up to apart from weight training?
Been back in the gym.
How's the dating going?
I'm still single. which is great. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Kids went back to school.
Okay, yes.
Huge.
How old are your kids?
8 and 5, Phoenix and Ruby. So I'm chuffed they're back to school. Like, I loved spending summer holidays with them, but I'm also happy they get back and hang out there.
Who's your favourite out of the two?
That's not unfair. Actually, I got...
Oh, here we go.
I've got 2 tattoos of my daughters on my body. I said to Phoenix 2 years ago when she was practicing her handwriting, drawing up handwriting, you can write anything on me and I'll get it tattooed, carte blanche. And she said, I'm going to write, I'm always by your side.
Oh my, how old was she when she did that?
Oh, she was 6.
That's ridiculous.
Stunning. So then I said to Ruby on Tuesday, I went and got another tattoo.
This is going to be great.
I said, what would you like? And she just went, Ruby rocks.
That's cool as well.
That's it, it's cool. So I got, there we are, Ruby rocks. Just the 2 of them.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice. They're good girls.
So they wrote it and you had it tattooed over?
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got quite a few tats, right?
A number, yeah. Not finished yet.
Okay. Would you, if I came up with something quite poetic, would you have that tattooed?
No.
Okay. Now, before we get into tomorrow night's game and Tuchel's reign so far, let's hear from the man himself who told talkSPORT what his plans are for the team ahead of next summer's World Cup.
If I even had now in my mind, like if I have in my mind 2, 3, 4, 5 players, of which I'm sure that I want to play them, they still can get injured right in front of the World Cup. It's a possibility. This can always happen. So we always need to be open enough and pragmatic in our approach. It's camp by camp. And it's camp by camp until we hopefully arrive in the US. And once we arrive in the US, we can only choose from the players who are fit and in shape. This will never change.
Ugo, when England appointed Thomas Tuchel as the manager, what was your first reaction to it? Good or bad decision?
I was happy. Forever we've said we want the best manager available. He's the best manager available. I wasn't caught up in his nationality. Right, we're talking about elite sport. The players represent England. The manager's there to do a job. In an ideal world, you'd have an English manager. But essentially, no one's going to care if they come home and win a World Cup.
But does it make it harder for him to succeed and win at our hearts? Because if all of a sudden he starts having little slip-ups along the way...
100%. There's a pro and a minus to everything. I think it makes it an easier job for him emotionally to not be English. Right. If everything doesn't work out, he doesn't have to be it. His kids might not be up the road at a local village hall or whatever it might be. He can just go back home. But it does make it a harder job for him to emotionally connect with the fans because there's always that room for, well, he's not English, he doesn't care as much. There might be that stereotypical an emotional thought towards him.
Do you know, there's always going to be that, I think, and I've said to Andy before, I agree with you. It doesn't bother me that he's German. Yeah. I always want the best man for the job, and currently as a coach that was out there, he was the best. But I do think the nation's patience is a lot less with Thomas Tuchel than it would be, say, with Gareth. Because of the whole German aspect.
Agreed. And we've got recent evidence with this in the women's game. When Serena Wiegmann got the job, I was like, it would have been good. What about Emma Hayes? What have we overlooked Emma Hayes?
Great point.
Then she goes and wins the Euros, and you're like...
Twice.
Next thing, she's doing up Burner Boy on stage, and everyone's absolutely loving her.
Yeah.
So she's gone back to back. No one's talking about her nationality. They're just looking at her CV.
We've got Andorra tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the Andorran team. Who should we be looking out for?
Oh, gosh. I'll tell you what, the centre-halves are good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big lads. They're strong. Good with the head, aren't they, Benty?
Yeah. I wonder how...
Oh, you bring me into it, I thought this was your section.
How generic we can keep going for. Midfielders got good feet.
Yeah, tough. Hard to move off the ball.
When we play sides like Andorra, we're all guilty of not necessarily looking at the performance, but should be the scoreline. 10-0, should be 8-0. Do you think it matters so much nowadays, or is it just about the win? For argument's sake, 1-0, poor performance.
No, absolutely not. No game is fair and equal, and no game's ever the same. If we're playing Brazil, we just want to perform well. And in fact, if we played well and lost 1-0, we'd be looking at the positives. We could slap these lot 5-0. But if we play poorly, or in fact, if he doesn't pick the team, the populist team, we're already on his back. And then we go and win, but we don't play well, and they'll be, but so it always feels like a bit of a lose-lose. When there's no jeopardy in the result, you have to focus in on performance. But I think it's also really important to understand the personality of this country. We're a main event nation, so we don't get excited about an Andorra. We get excited about big names, big teams, big countries, and that's right across the spectrum. Boxing the same, UFC the same, golf. Everyone's talking about Ryder Cup. but not bothered about what happens in like a local Open or whatever it might be. And the same with football. We get excited. The same with the Women's Euros this summer. We came alive when it got to quarterfinals.
Yeah, but do we get excited because we think we're going to win it? Or do we get excited because we're in a big competition?
Hope is a heavy backpack, and it's one that we've had to carry for a long time. And we haven't won anything in the men's format. But I think we always believe we're going to win it. But I do think we do get excited. It's hard because when you look at the individuals, we've got so many excited individuals, but collectively put them together under the banner of England. And I don't know. Look at Phil Foden at Man City versus when he comes into England. At times you're like, how does that work out? But that's the job of the manager.
He does, like quite a few English players, he does play out of position for England.
True.
And then we get on his case, and then we get on the case of the manager, he's playing him out of position.
But then we're also hypocritical with Gareth Southgate. It's like, play your best players. And then, was it Tuchel, was it Southgate? I've forgotten. But then he played all his best players.
No, that was Lee Carsley.
Yeah, Lee Carsley.
Yeah,
played every single one of them. And then we lost. And we're like, what's he doing?
Yeah, we did have 14 centre forwards on the pitch.
No, I think it is. I don't think Thomas Tuchel will get judged, as you said, on games like Andorra. We've got some good players, by the way, Lopez and Servos. They're good players for Andorra. But
Servos, like?
He's decent, to be fair. Plays that.
He's got good service.
He's got front, yeah. Alvarez, the goalkeeper's decent as well. Ramos.
Is there anyone that isn't decent?
Nicholas and Ramos centre half, they're very, very good.
Decent, yeah. But anyone, you look at that team and go, he's not decent.
I think Garcia, who plays like right wing, he's not great.
Why?
But
Why not?
Not the quickest.
Okay.
Yeah. The last game they played, they got smashed by Serbia 3-0.
Yeah.
Mitrovic hat-trick. But no, going back to England.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah. Back to England. I just think Thomas Tuchel's not... Yeah, I think he should use these games to find out who his best system is. But he's not going to get judged on how they beat Andorra and teams like that. He's going to get judged on when it gets when it's the absolute maximum, where they get to the final, they get to a semi-final. Can he deliver the big moments? Gareth got to 2 finals, just couldn't get us over. If Thomas Tuchel plays poorly, but gets us over that hump, everyone's going to be happy.
The FA aren't watching him, judging him, calling an emergency board meeting based on how we perform on Saturday. You're absolutely spot on. He'll be judged solely on the World Cup because that's the only reason he's been brought in.
Yeah. But it does worry me. I don't know about you two, but it does worry me. He's signed this 18-month deal. Almost like he's... This is going to sound silly when I say it, but almost like his only goal is to win the World Cup and then forget it, i.e. he's not... like Gareth Southgate was always trying to blood the young kids coming through, and if we weren't going to win this tournament with Gareth, we knew the next one, the young kids would be ready because they've got that experience, etc. But like, for argument's sake, there are players like... Dan Burn, Jordan Henderson, where I look at and I think there's no longevity there for those players in that England team. He's just brought them in just to win the World Cup. Now, it's all very well if we win it and it works, but if we don't win it, all of a sudden you've got this gaping hole where you need to start bringing in new, fresh blood, young blood into this and start again. And that's what worries me. You
absolutely need to have connectivity between under-21s and the first team. And the relationship he builds with Lee Carsley, and it's a short period of time, and they were in conversation during the summer when the 21s did really well, and that's fantastic. But in order to be able to win today, as well as spin the plate of trying to create a legacy and a pathway for the future of our game, that's essential, and that's what the FA wants. But in Tuchel's mind, he selfishly thinks, what's my remit? It's to win a World Cup. Yeah. And he would do that at all costs. And so how much is he worried about the future succession plan of what happens in 18 months and 1 day? Probably not that bothered, purely because his dateline, his goal line, and maybe his end game just is trying to get to a World Cup final, try and win a big knockout match.
But that's the thing, you look at his career, Thomas Tuchel, other than when he was at Mainz and he was there for, 6 years? Before that, Dortmund, 2 years, Paris Saint-Germain, 2 years, Chelsea, 18 months, Bayern Munich, 1 year. So he's not a manager that builds projects. He goes in there, wins, gets success relatively quickly, and then he ultimately goes. So they probably looked at that as well, because I don't expect in 5 years' time, if England win the World Cup, potentially he'll still be there. He probably will be there. But I'm thinking in his mind, he's probably thinking World Cup. And there's no guarantees if he wins the World Cup, he stays anyway. He might just go, do you know what? I've done my job.
Genuine, why would he?
Let's move on.
Do you think we'll win the World Cup? I know it's so early to ask that question. If everyone's fit.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I do, but then I go back to a team of like 08, where you could almost name that entire 11 and go, they're all in World 11s. We didn't. This golden generation has been rebooted, and I think we've not just got a very talented golden generation, but we've got an unbelievable age profile. We really do. We should have success for an extended period of time. But we get caught in this little ecosystem and just focus on England, and then you like flick on Spain, you're like, oh, geez, that's what
or France.
They're good. You forget because we're so narrow-minded in our focus, and as we should be, because we should just be consumed of our team. And the reality is, if we played our best in knockout rugby and had the mentality to go alongside it, because that's a learned attitude, that's a learned behaviour. We haven't won a massive knockout match for a long, long time. And if it's 75 minutes and it's 1-1 or we're 1-0 down, do we have the ball? Because we know we've got the skill. Sometimes you win big matches by skill. A lot of the time you just win it by will.
We have Darren Bent with us in the studio. Those are the words of Hugo Monnier, who's young, free and single. This is Friday Night Live on talkSPORT with our friends at TNT Sports. More from the three of us right after this. And Joe Cole will be joining us as well. Friday Night Live, TNT Sports, new partnership with talkSPORT. It's me, Andy Goldstein, Premier League 100 Clubs superstar, Darren Bent, and something for the housewives, former England Hugo Monnier with us in the studio. His young friend single, ready to mingle. Just quickly, John Stones has withdrawn from the England squad for the next 2 World Cup qualifiers because of injury. Lionel Messi scored twice for Argentina in what is expected to be his final competitive match on home soil. Lucky I got that one out. And a reminder that Sean Dyche is back on talkSPORT this weekend alongside Johnny Owen. That's Sunday from midday. Ugo, when you came into the studio just before, you and I were having a chat outside, and you went, I heard your chat with Benty earlier on about sports science. And I went, oh yeah. And you went, yeah. And I went, oh wait, do it on air. So I don't know what you're going to say about it. In case people are joining us late, Benty and I were having a debate about how important sports science is, because I was a little bit sick and tired of footballers taking off their shirts to reveal the bra, and then Benty was telling me how important it is to have all these heat maps and tell me how far these players have run, and I was getting a bit bored with just the science behind sports now. I think we're getting bogged down with all these stats, and sometimes it's better to watch a game of football just with your eyes and make your own decisions rather than look at all these facts and figures.
I agree with the last part of what you're saying. I think you have to always apply the eye test first and then use the stats and the data to be able to back up any theory or actually to... I think it's important to go that route first. What I don't like is when coaches are led by numbers first. That doesn't work for me. I think stats are absolutely phenomenal, and they're there to guide you. They're not there to dictate what you do. The best coaches I worked with, it's actually not about the numbers, not about the population of figures and metrics and everything else. It's about how you use it and implement it. Because I know loads of coaches that have an incredible bandwidth of numbers available to them, and they ignore it. And guess what? They don't get the things which they should get out of it. But then I also know coaches that overuse it, and what I would always call like paralysis by analysis. Get so much data and they're like, oh gosh, got to do this. And it's like, what did your eye see? What did your eye see? When I played at Harlequins and we went through a very successful period, we collected so much data, and we knew going into every single game, if our defence was over 90%, what
does that mean? Over 90% what?
Over 90% completion. So in football terms, that would be you win 90% of your duels. Okay. In attack, I'll convert into football again. Say in transition, you got the ball back within 4 seconds. And then the third bit of it was our set piece. So once again, in football, that would be like if 90% of your corner deliveries were successful, we'd win 95% of our matches. So in the week, it was really simple for us. So like at Arsenal, you'd have Declan Rice practicing his corners, Saka practicing his corners, because, you know, if you get that on the money, you'll win. In defence, make sure you win your duels, and then transition, work really hard. We had so much data. Can
I just say, sorry, on the back of that everything that you've said, I would, as a coach, implement without any of that data. Defence, make sure you win all your duels. Declan Rice, practice free kicks.
Yeah.
Practice corners. I mean, I'd do that as a football coach.
100%. I think when you look at a season like what we're in the Premier League, so it's 2 weeks, is it 3 weeks? We had 3 matches, and it finishes next May. How do you present and create energy week in, week out to the same players with the same voice? And sometimes you just need tangible evidence. Sometimes you see that by showing them pictures and videos and everything else, but you can't argue with data. You can't argue with facts and stats. And so I think it breeds a sense of confidence. And if I'm saying to Benty, by the way, over the last 5 matches, when you've touched a ball more than 10 times in the final third, guess what's happened? You scored. Straight away, it's like, I just want to be on the ball. So it's not just an opinion. It's something fact, which is like rooted in fact. It doesn't solve everything. Arsenal at the weekend against Liverpool, they go, oh, do you know what? Szoboszlai, it scored a goal from 35 yards since 1998. And then he smacks an absolute worldie. So he doesn't protect you. It's not bulletproof. But I do think it's such an important period, especially in the modern era. And that's rest, that's recovery, that's preparation, that's analysis. But don't be paralysed by analysis.
Okay.
Amazing that was.
We sort of agree, right? Because all the information you're getting from all the analysis, you are suggesting that what you do with that is you put it to good use and you tell your attacker, you defend your midfield. But as a coach, that's what I would do anyway.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that without the data.
Yeah, but I would always say to my defence, make sure you win duels. Make sure you...
So I'll give you an example. England rugby, when they toured Australia, I think it was 4 years ago, whenever it was, they knew that Australia Australia had scored 1 try from 70 metres in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
So they just knew we play a territory game. They're not going to hurt us from there.
No.
So stuff like that.
I agree with what you're saying there, but our argument or our discussion earlier on was based on like player by player.
Yeah.
So I was saying that if you've got stats of a certain player,
yeah,
to turn around and say to him, you ran 11k this week and you only ran 9k last week, and that means I don't believe in any of that.
I do, but once again, it's how you use the data. What are your eyes telling you? He looked a bit lethargic. Okay, let me check the data. Oh, actually, do you know what? That makes sense, because he actually run 2k less this week than he did last week. Let's have a look at his training load. Oh, do you know what? He's done a bit more this week.
Load. I said load.
So, yeah, and load we're like hyper-focused on matches. The most important data pool that any coach can use is in training. Forget the game. The game will be the game. But how you prep an individual, how you prep a team, and the load in which you do. Like, I sit on World Rugby's high-performance panel, and we discuss this all the time, and the usage of data and how it actually allows coaches to be able to make better decisions, because every coach wants every player for a little bit longer. But we're saying, I'll tell you what, if you train over 75 minutes, you have a 20% increased chance of risk of injury. Mm. So, like, use it if you want, but we're just saying from like 10,000 data points, we can tell you that. So it's not about the data, it's about the implementation and the conversion of the numbers.
Okay. Interesting.
He's very good.
He's very good. We'll carry that. You better be careful, Benny. We'll carry this chat on in just a moment. Let me just remind you, it's a new era for the men's and women's FA Cup on TNT Sports. In addition to live Premier League and UEFA club competition coverage, for the first time, TNT Sports will broadcast the Emirates FA Cup and the Adobe Women's FA Cup, meaning fans will be able to watch more football from both competitions than ever before. Right, time now for No Googling. Still to come, we're going to be joined by England and Chelsea superstar Joe Cole ahead of the Andorra game tomorrow night. But first, the No Googling question is about England. They continue their preparation for next summer's World Cup against Andorra. We want to know who is the youngest player ever to play for England at a World Cup. Who is the youngest player ever to play for England at a World Cup? The answer to that and more, and Joe Cole coming up live after this.
some of the best off-camera anecdotes from recent years at the Ryder Cup. As caddy Billy Foster went to relieve himself at the Belfry, he noticed only one of the 2 cubicles had toilet paper. Shortly after he'd sat down, Tiger Woods went into the empty cubicle and realised his mistake all too late. So Foster took some paper, reached under the cubicle with a rescue offering, and as Tiger went to take it, Foster uttered the words, "Europe, one up." Fast forward 10 years to the miraculous Medina. Rory McIlroy overslept and was in danger of missing his Sunday tea time. Thankfully, travel organiser Erica Stoll sorted him a police escort, and 3 years later, McIlroy proposed. Scottish legend Sam Torrance tells many a yarn about the great Ballesteros. Apparently, Seve would regularly give coaching clinics to his European teammates. When the same players asked for help a week later at the Italian Open, Seve would tell them to Having started with a Billy Foster story, let's finish with one from the 12th tee at Oakland Hills in 2004. It was Jimenez and Garcia against Westwood and Clark in a practice round, and as they finished, Foster decided to jump in the buggy and speed away with all their clubs, only to lose control entirely and see it careering towards the spectators. Thankfully, the Red Sea parted and the buggy smashed into a tree, with viewers and clubs still intact.
Listen to Friday Night Live on talkSPORT. Thanks to our friends at TNT Sports. It's me, Andy Goldstein, Hugo Monnier, Darren Bent. Before the break, asked the question, who was the youngest player ever to play for England at World Cup? Neither of you got it in the outbreak.
No, I did get it.
Such a lot.
No, my second guess.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
You went, who is it?
No,
you went Theo.
That was my guess.
Hugo, was he lying? Now, before you answer, if you say no, I'm going to tell everyone what you were talking to me about.
He's lying.
Michael Owen, wasn't it?
It was Michael Owen. Well done.
98?
Yeah, all right. I've just told you the answer.
You didn't say 98.
I didn't need to say it. How old was he? 17. Wrong.
18.
Yes. Who did he come on against?
Colombia.
You've looked.
No, I haven't looked.
I know, because it's Tunisia. A reminder that talkSPORT got live commentary of England against Andorra tomorrow evening, live from Villa Park. Join us now ahead of that one is a proper England superstar, a legend. He was with us in the studio last week as we welcome back to the show and say hello and good evening to Joe Cole. Joe, good evening to you.
Evening, Andy, Benty, Hugo.
What's happening?
And the Nedge.
Where are you in your house? Is that the toilet, the bathroom, the lounge? Where is that?
It's the lounge, mate. It's the lounge, yeah. I've just gone. I don't have a computer, so this is on the. I hope it's all right. It's on the phone.
It's perfect. Joe, do you have a room in your house where you've got like your England shirts, your Chelsea shirts, all your medals, etc.? Do you have that?
No, if you walked into my house, you wouldn't know it was a footballer's house.
Why is that? A lot of footballers say that. Why is that?
I don't know, really. You know, I'm not really one for. Imagine you get people around for a drink and there's loads of pictures of you.
Yeah.
That's what I've got in my house, Joe.
Yeah. Well, listen, each to their own. I don't judge. You know.
Okay, fine.
To be fair, the 17,000 square feet probably gives it away, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you've got lots of medals. You ain't got that many medals. Right, listen, let's start off with that game tomorrow night. Well, I'll ask you the question that I asked Hugo when he came in. What have you made of Thomas Tuchel's start to life as England manager?
It's been sort of... It's been steady, ain't it? It's not... the actual squads he's picked I like because they're very much his. I don't think he's pandied to the media in any way, shape or form. You know, you've seen that, but the fact he wants Jordan Henderson back in the squad, that's come from left field. And he's just gone, no, this is why I want him in the squad. He has his reasons and he's doing it. So he's very much, I'm not surprised that he's very much his own man. I think if you ask every ex-England player what team, what squad they would pick, they'd all come up with a different idea on how we should play football. So there's no right way of doing it. But I think he needs a couple of good games going into this World Cup. Like, whatever happens on Saturday is going to be, it's going to be irrelevant, really. It's Andorra. But leading up to the World Cup, he hasn't had a moment where in an England game where we've gone, right, we can see what his team's all about yet. So he needs that going into the World Cup. Otherwise, it'd be very, very difficult.
Cole, is there anyone that he's not picked yet that you'd like to see, or a different system? Is there anyone where you've gone, do you know what, I wouldn't mind seeing him in the squad and that could play a part in the World Cup? I
don't know, Benty, I'm really excited about Jack Grealish coming back and playing. He's been brilliant since he started at Everton. And, I'm a massive fan of his, Benty. I really love the way he plays football. And I know in a tournament in the summer, I don't think you can play a style of football where you don't have the ball. We've all played tournaments and pre-seasons and this, whatever, you have to have players on the ball who can handle the ball, get you up the pitch, win you free kicks. And there's no one better in world football than Jack now. So I think we're missing a trick if Jack's not integrated back into the squad. I think he's still got something to say in an England shirt.
Coley, let's talk style. What have you made of Tuchel's style versus how you think England should play? Well,
my style, Hugo, you've seen that in a few nights, but no, do you know what? I've been a big advocate for many, many years on handling the ball and possession. And I love Gareth Southgate. And I think Gareth's tenure in England, as an England manager, will age well. We'll realise what he's done. He transitioned from this period. Although there were some things about Gareth's teams that I didn't like. I think the team that wins the World Cup is the team that can handle the ball and have possession players. And I'm talking... I like the lad Gomez at Lille in terms of handling the ball. I like Phil Foden in my team. You have to have players on the ball who can keep it and move it and keep possession. And we've never lent into that as a nation. I know we can't play like Pep Guardiola, but we actually now we've got as good a players as anyone. Our midfield, your Bellinghams of this world, Cole Palmers. If and when comes the day when I start managing and my teams, I'd like to think my teams would be on the front foot, trying to handle possession, controlling the ball. And I think that's what we should lean into as a nation with the quality that we got. We've got so many number 10s. It's unbelievable.
Cole, you said there one name that's not in the squad, and that's Phil Foden.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem for Phil is where do you play him? Because a lot of people have said play him as number 10, but me personally, I believe as a number 10, Jude Bellingham and Cole Palmer are both better in that position than him. So what do you do with Phil Foden? Because we don't want to see him get forced into the team, but if he can't get in his natural position, what do you do with him?
Well, Benny, I agree with you as well. I think Cole Palmer and Jude are ahead of him at the moment. Maybe you wouldn't have said that 18 months ago. Certainly with Cole and possibly with Jude, there was him and they were going back and forth to see who would be England's number 10. He had a difficult season last year. We don't know the problems he had off the pitch or injuries or what it was. But you have to keep faith with these type of players. You can't just, you're asking Phil Foden. When Phil Foden plays well to the best of his ability, like the season before last, he's the best player in the country. But there's only one player who can produce that type of level of performance over the last 15 years consistently. And that's Lionel Messi. And there's a reason he's the greatest player in the world. But a manager's job is to get the best out of these players, and you need to have your best players. And Phil Foden's certainly if someone turns around and tells you Phil Foden's not in your 23 best footballers in this country, then they're mad. So you know, in that sense, you have to have him and build him and build his stature, but he has to perform as well. You know, he has to do his end of the bargain, and I think he will get there, similar to Jack. But he does. He doesn't start for me for England now because of that. Like you can't. You have to be doing it to play for England. You do have to be performing and playing well. But there's certain players like Phil Foden that you take and you nurture and you wait for. You know, you might, and if you need to unlock a game and you've got 20 minutes to go, you'd want Phil Foden sitting next to you on the bench. You know, with his ability to pick a pass or do something.
Yeah. Joe, I want to move on and talk about Chelsea. Before I do, just ever so quickly, in one of your answers, you said something along the lines of, if the day comes when I manage. Yeah. Is that something you'd like to do one day, to manage?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm coaching a little bit. I'm restart. I was at Brentford last year doing a bit of, you know, with the young lads, just keeping my eye in and coaching. And I'm going to start again there soon when things settle down. But it's something I've got my eye on at some point. It's difficult though. It's very difficult because you don't want to take you don't want to take a job that you don't think's right for you at the time. And there's lots of decent jobs, but you want a good job with an opportunity to do well. But I love football.
Do you feel, Joe, as though you personally would have to start in a lower league, or for argument's sake, if you got all your badges and then the job at, I don't know, West Ham came up? Would you take that?
You're good at your job. Listen, I won't be putting my CV into Real Madrid anytime soon. But so obviously you've got to start somewhere, and there's different ways. I think it's such a mad world. I've got friends coaching all over the world, and you speak to them, and they're always 4 or 5 games from the sack at any level, and then there's interference from owners and you've got directors of football and the game and all these other things now, where so much of the control of what you're doing on the football pitch isn't in your hands. Like, what job would you take on where they'd say, "Right, we want you to do this job, but you ain't really in control of it, and you're gonna get judged effectively every Saturday, and if it goes wrong, it's your fault." It's a mad job to do anyway, being a football manager. So the only thing I'd say is, if I did a job, you'd like to have an opportunity, and you'd like to be able to think that you have full control of the tactics, the players, and a bit of a relationship with the owner, so you have time to work on things. If that was the case, I'd do it tomorrow. But I don't know whether I'm waiting for something which is just not possible out there anymore. Well, I don't know.
That rules out the West Ham job. Let's move on while I've got you. I want to get your view on what happened at Chelsea at the weekend, their last game against Fulham. I'm pretty sure I was watching you on TNT Sports, that one live. The main headline in that game was a goal that didn't stand. That was the disallowed goal for King. I'm pretty sure I remember listening to you after the game talking about how ridiculous you thought that decision was.
Yeah, it was a travesty. And we get criticised in this job when it's the team. Say if it's Chelsea or West Ham, and people say, you might have a slip of the tongue and say us and say you're biased. But sometimes when something like that happens, you have to, because the fans are watching it. And it was a travesty for Fulham. It was a travesty for the young lad who scored the goal. Take that moment of him scoring his first Premier League goal taken away from him. And they just got it wrong. And you could see them trying to do mental gymnastics. You could imagine them trying to justify it, when ultimately it was just a dreadful decision by them. And VAR is supposed to take the sort of subjectivity out of it and make it black or white, and it isn't. When it's a goal, you just can't stop a goal for something like that. It wasn't clear and obvious, wasn't dangerous, and it was just a bad decision. And I don't want to be battering refs and VAR, because I think they're trying to do the best job. But I'm battering the technology and the reason. I don't know why we're continuing to persevere with it. I think the bigger picture is football's better off without it.
Joe, sorry, that wasn't technology that got that wrong. That was a person.
Well, the application of the technology. Sorry, whoever's choosing to carry on with it, because I think they need to sit down in a room and go, is this actually making the spectacle football better for the fan? Which is what it's all about at the end of the day. It's why we're all in a job, and it's why we all love football, because people pay their hard-earned money to go and watch it. Is the product better for the fans at home, the fans in the stadium, because of VAR? I would argue no. I think it's sucking a little bit of the joy out of the game. I think it's been good with offsides. You know, the ones the quick decisions,
the automated offsides.
Automated offsides. I like that. Goal line technology. Yeah, I like that. And it should be used as, unless it has to be an absolute massive miss of a decision to be brought in. It's used too much, taken too long.
Coley, for me, rugby has its own version of VAR. We call it TMO, Television Match Official. Yeah. The number one thing, if I was to say anything about football in this, is you've got to personalise VAR. Because we constantly call it VAR, we think it's robotic. It's not. Yeah. That's the system. The people operating the system are human beings. And guess what? Human beings get things wrong. But because it's considered to be a robot and it's automated, it's just not. We've got 2 referees who, by the way, aren't good enough to be on the pitch, but okay to be able to watch things on a replay. So the minute you personalise the people and stop talking about it like it's a robot, like it's ChatGPT for football, the better it will be. And the second thing is you have to consider, what is it you want? Is it getting every decision right, or is it keeping flow into the game? Because if you want them to make quicker decisions, you'll get more wrong. If you're happy for them to take their time, then expect them to get it right. So we've had TMO for a lot longer than VAR, and I tell you what, it's taken us a long time to be able to get to a point where it's still pretty good. We still get things wrong, but everyone understands that when we say TMO, we're talking about people, not robots.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Joe, listen, before we let you go, I'm just curious. We had a big discussion yesterday about Michael Owen, who suggested this week that you'll never see a teenager perform like he did, or when Wayne Rooney came through as a kid. We won't see that anymore. I'm just curious, who's the best wonder kid you ever saw?
Himself.
Apart from you.
Oh, God. In terms of...
Just sheer natural talent.
Okay, sheer natural talent, the best teenager I've ever seen. Do you know what? There was a kid I saw at Chelsea, and he didn't actually kick on. His name was Gael Kakuta. He played, but he joined in with us on a few occasions, and he was amazing. He broke his leg in a game. I think people can Google him. He broke his leg in a game at Cobham, and he was never quite the same player. But he trained with us for about 2 or 3 weeks, and he was unbelievable. Wow. I think Eden Hazard's talked about him. They was like the two.
For me, I'm just sort of happy that it's done. I'm happy for Alex. He's a friend at the end of the day, and
do you know what I mean?
I don't think it was probably easy on him in the summer either.
Sorry, Joe. I don't know what happened there. Something was played out over you. Are you still there, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, we got you now. I can only apologise to our listeners. I'm not quite sure what happened. Joe, listen, thanks for coming on. I'll leave you with one last question. You can only pick one. Who was better in their pomp, Wayne Rooney or Michael Owen?
Wayne Rooney.
Okay. Good answer. Yeah. Joe, always an honour to have you on our show. Have a wonderful weekend.
Cheers, Coley.
Coming on, pal.
Cheers, Coley.
Always a pleasure, guys. Have a good one.
There you go.
Take care.
Future West Ham manager Joe Cole joining us on today's show. We're going to have a quick break. When we come back, we'll be finding out how you both did.
No,
you weren't. We'll find out how Joe did last week, and then you'll have to make more predictions. The last 15 minutes of Friday Night Live, thanks to our friends at TNT Sports. Coming up live on talkSPORT after this. Welcome back to Friday Night Live, TNT Sports, new partnership with talkSPORT. It's me, Andy Goldstein, Premier League 100 club member, Darren Ben, and of course former England and Lions winger, and of course the Des Lynam of today's show, Hugo Monye is with us. Reminder, the WSL season gets underway this evening. Man City, they head to Chelsea. It's live over on talkSPORT 2 at 7:30. Charlotte Richardson will be watching that one for talkSPORT, and she has the team news for us now. Charlotte, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, the big team news is that Sam Kerr makes her first appearance in the Chelsea squad in 20 months. The clinical striker starting on the bench as the hosts begin yet another title defence. Crown champions 6 times in a row. They seem to get stronger and stronger each season. There's one debutant in their 11, Ellie Carpenter, links up with her old boss at Lyon, further strengthening Chelsea's defence. England Lioness Grace Clinton switched sides in Manchester on deadline day. A little bit too soon for her to feature this evening, but it's not necessarily new faces that away fans are keen to see back and firing. It is key players like captain Alex Greenwood, Lauren Hemp, Viviana Miedemar and Bunny Shaw. All 4 missed pivotal parts of last season, which played a role in Manchester City's disappointing trophyless campaign. The quartet start tonight, and they are aiming to be the first side in 25 WSL games to beat the Blues. It's Chelsea versus Manchester City. The WSL is back, and we have kick-off here at 7:30 p.m.
Good work as always. Thank you, Charlotte. Now, a big and an important game for Scotland. They're taking on Denmark in their World Cup qualifier this evening. David Tanner is watching that one for talkSPORT, and he also has team news for us now. David, good evening.
Good evening, and it's a huge game for Scotland in a small World Cup group of just 4 teams. There are no margins for error in this one. Steve Clarke makes 7 changes to the last 11 he named in June. Right back, Aaron Hickey returns after 2 years out injured. Up top, Lyndon Dykes is back for the first time in 10 months. The other players recalled are fit again, goalkeeper Angus Gunn, centre-backs John Suter and Grant Hanley, and in midfield Scott McTominay and Ryan Christie. Denmark have dropped their most capped player, Christian Eriksen, as he's been without a club since leaving Manchester United. Eriksen's spot is taken by Brentford's Mikkel Damsgaard. Denmark against Scotland is at 7:45.
Thank you as always. Right, time now for this.
It's time. It is tight and tense.
We're flying and our fists are punching.
DB versus TNT.
What drama on talkSPORT, just when you think you've seen it all.
Good night.
Yes, this is our feature, DB v TNT, bracket sports, where every week on Friday Night Live, Premier League 100 club member Darren Bent pits himself, as easy for me to say, against our special guest in the studio from TNT Sports. This week, of course, we're joined by the former England and Lions superstar Hugo Monye. Every Friday, they'll be predicting some of the biggest games from the weekend. Now, it was a low-scoring week last week with Joe Cole. He picked up 2 points for TNT Sports. DB scored the same, as they both correctly predicted that Chelsea would beat Fulham and Man United would beat Burnley, Gorn United. But both thought Arsenal would draw. Liverpool idiots. And then they, of course, got spanked. So the current score is DB 4, TNT bracket sports 5.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You've both got 30 seconds or so. Actually, we've only got about 90 minutes left, so I'll ask you the games. The big one, it's tomorrow. It's on talkSPORT 5.
Can I borrow your pen, please?
PM. No, you just give me the answer.
No, but I need to write in my book.
Shut up. England against Andorra, of course you can. What would the score be, Darren Bent?
England Andorra?
Yeah.
Well, England win 5-0.
Okay, you put your hand up. I don't know if you want to go to the toilet.
No, I was showing you my score.
5, you were showing me 5.
Yeah.
So you also think 5-0?
Yeah, that's well annoying.
Well, you can. It's fine. You can 4 or 6.
Go for Andorra win. Andorra win.
No, go 6-0.
6-0.
6-0.
Okay, I'll ask you now first.
Okay, cool.
Tuesday, 7:45 live on talkSPORT is Serbia.
That's
England.
tough, you know.
Tough game.
I'm going to say, because we're still quite pragmatic, 2-1.
2-1 to Serbia.
England.
Okay. DB, the sneaker freak.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Okay. Desmond Douglas.
Pessimist.
Yeah, go for a draw.
What are you going for? What's the score going to be?
I'm going to go Desmond Douglas.
2-2. Okay. The last one I'm going to ask you both to predict on Sunday at 7:45. See Germany take on Northern Ireland. Benny, which way are you going?
3-0 Germany.
Okay.
4-1.
4-1.
Yeah.
Ugo. Good work. Right, before I say goodbye to them, don't forget it's a new era for the men's and the women's FA Cup on TNT Sports. In addition to live Premier League and UEFA club competition coverage, for the first time, TNT Sports will broadcast the Emirates FA Cup and the Adobe Women's FA Cup, meaning fans will be able to watch more sport from both competitions than ever before. That is all we've got time for on this week's Friday Night Live, and, of course, for this week for Drive Time. Me and Benny will be back on Monday at 4 o'clock. Ugo's off to Stringfellas now. Is that right?
I'm off to... No, wow. That's so aggressive.
Yeah, wow.
What was wrong with that? Good steak there.
No,
Where are you going now?
I'm going to Brighton. England against Australia in the Women's Rugby World Cup.
Oh, okay, that'd be nice. What will the score be there? Who's going to win? Not the score, but who will win?
England 50 odd.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, they're naughty.
I'm writing that twice. If he gets that right, honestly.
Yeah, I swear.
Ugo, we'll probably see you next week.
Yeah, all right.
Have a wonderful weekend.